What you want to do is you want to have whoever's watching this go out and look for the chaos in their lives and inspire them to explore that more.
Right.
Don't run away from the chaos. Some people are afraid their lives are so perfectly ordered you can't bring chaos in there. So, and chaos itself as a word comes from ancient Greek. It means a state lacking order or predictability, and in ancient Greece they used it to mean the initial state of the universe, and by extension, space, darkness, and an abyss. To me, that it conjures up an image of that space where creativity is about to happen.
Something and nothing at the same time.
That void. Yeah, the void. The void is important. For me, it is. When I'm creating, I'm in the mix, right? There's light all around me, and when I'm not, I'm in this nether place. I'll call it the void, where there's nothing happening. It's building. It's waiting.
There seems to be nothing happening on the outside, but there's something is beginning to surge inside. That's there's a lot, you look at things like chaos theory, things seemingly chaotic have an order to them once you get to a broad enough perspective. And when you brought up this subject, I was thinking about writers like Isaac Asimov, his Foundation novels. It's the theory that you could mathematically predict everything in the universe that was going to happen, predict the future, if you were able to get a better perspective on it. If you were able to get a sufficient perspective on what all those variables were, you'd be able to find the order within that chaos.
Right.
And be able to predict future events going on into infinity.
Right, like the butterfly effect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. We would have perfect weather forecasts if we could figure out the chaos theory.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, no. I think that Isaac Asimov's theory is flawed, in that once you have encapsulated the variables involved, you've already involved the infinite. And the infinite changes, and no, there is no, I don't believe there is any equation that can. We talked about it in an earlier show, about how potentially maybe someday there'll be a computer fast enough, or yeah, there may be a computer fast enough, but the person or the individual, we'll say individual, because it doesn't have to be a person, inputting the variables has to see things in such a objective way. And we're surrounded with subjectivity. And to me, subjectivity is the nature of chaos. I mean, this differential between ideas and different people, and how those things interact with us in ways that we can't predict.
I think if we were to fathom what all these minutiae detail are all about, we would lose some of the beauty, some of the mystery in our lives.
Right.
Yeah, this is why we seek the creative chaos, because without it, we're simply we live in stasis, right? We're an individual within our own realm. And as soon as we allow the chaos to interrupt, that's when things change. That's when the ideas come. That's when, I had this huge, like it was like one time, had these huge parties at my old studio space. And every time it would erupt into some kind of creative outpouring, right? People, would get to that point where they let go of all of the things that they cared about in terms of like their way that they are seen outwardly. And they would just release, and it all came into, and it, sometimes there were like 10 people all slopping paint around and gluing things on things and picking up pieces of, random objects off the floor.
You're describing, you have this party and you have all these artists creating that space of chaos being the initial state of the universe. We play the creator when we are taking on that sort of godlike aspect when we're creating art, because the art is a universe into itself. A canvas, a sculpture, a piece of theater, a piece of music, whatever it is, we are creating something out of nothingness. And that's, you know, you would need a whole different set of parameters to be able to fathom that, because it is its own thing.
Oh, I'd like to say that I don't think we're actually creating something from nothing. I think we're creating something from everything. And that becomes important, because that everything is what we allow into us. There is a certain allowance level that we accept and absorb. And it comes times where you like delete things from that realm, right? Okay, no longer is this person allowed here, because they interfere with this or that, or yada yada yada, right?
I find our videos to be chaotic sometimes. You know, when you're watching the videos and they're everywhere, and sometimes, well, when I'm like editing the videos, that it's the things that I've just, as you've said before, just let go. You know what I mean? Like it's not planned out. We never really know where the show's going to go when we're doing the shows. That we just pick a topic a couple minutes before we do the show, and we just do it. And it usually works out to be something really beautiful, if I can say so. But it just comes together in randomly. And is there a difference between randomness and chaos?
Well, that's a very deep question in of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm computing.
The first thing that comes to mind with that is that randomness seems to have no purpose. Chaos does seem to serve a purpose. But maybe that's just the way that I interpret those two words, because they're words. We all deal with vocabulary subjectively.
Right.
But that's how I'm interpreting them.
I think of randomness, I think of like 649, you know, randomly choosing numbers.
Yeah.
There's chaos theory would not be able to solve what those numbers are going to be. There's probability, but
yes.
You know.
Well, I use that in my creative process. I take dice. Being an old Dungeons and Dragons nerd, I have all these great dice. They're beautiful. I mean, that's one of the things that like got me into the game, was the fact that there's all these beautiful, you know, different random things that can occur outside of like the typical 6-sided die, right? Yahtzee! Next thing you know, I got an 8-sided dice, a 4-sided dice, and a 12-sided dice, a 10-sided dice, and a 20-sided dice. And yes, I should be saying die, but I don't care. It's interpreted subjectively.
And the more dice you have, the more possibilities become open.
Yeah, so sometimes when I start painting, so I'll prepare like 25 canvases, and then I'll write down a number of criteria that fit, say, okay, color choices, right? So color choices 1 through 6, because I'm using a 6-sided die for that. And then idea, it's going to be planar, is it going to be flat, is it going to be centrifugal, is it going to be whatever, right? So I set up all of these different variables, and then I roll die to find out what it's going to be. And so I roll dice, okay, so the first 3 colors are going to be this, this, and this, because that's what the dice told me. And then the concept of the painting is going to be a flat line. Okay, cool. Now I have variables that I can deal with, right? That is chaos. That is pure random. Because I didn't use my mind. I did. I set the criteria with my mind, but I'm using a device, accepting that device as part of my process to allow me to find new ideas. This huge party, and there's all these people there, and then suddenly chaos shows up. You know,
disheveled hair.
Yeah.